once a week and be bored out of your mind, says my doctor, writing out the prescription for a simple task. Happiness starts right now. You'd go to Mass and completely veg out, completely veg out. She says it was good for people to switch off like that. Happiness starts right now. I said, happiness starts right now. And now you have the problem that people can't switch off, stressed out of their minds, and they can't even go to Mass, she said. But you can go to work forever. You can go to work forever. You can work from home 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 forever. You must work from home forever. You will work from home forever. Happiness starts right now. Happiness starts right now.
Thank you, Jennifer Walsh.
That was really
Beautiful
beautiful.
performance.
That was great. And Jenny will be joining us very soon, I think, any moment. But first, thanks to Richard Ferrante for commissioning that new work, and thank you for everyone who's bought a ticket today.
Here she comes. I think something's happening now where she's joining us.
Yay!
And there she is after a beautiful performance.
That was really beautiful.
Oh, thanks very much.
Where are you speaking to us from?
I'm in London. So yeah, like pretty locked down situation. I hear you have like restaurants and stuff open again in New York. Things are opening up a little bit.
Things are opening up.
A
That's
little
good.
bit.
We've got
Although
a big,
mostly people are sitting outside of cafes in the freezing cold with a little heater above them.
Ah,
You
yeah.
guys have that too?
No, nothing. You can't. You can only get takeout. Like that's it. So like, and you're not allowed. You're not supposed to have, stranger in your garden, and you're not supposed to meet up with more than one other person to go for a walk. So it's. I look forward to the frozen patio heaters. That will be great.
Come and join us.
How has that impacted what you do, and related to the creation of this piece in particular? But how has this moment been for you?
I can't complain in that I'm not a frontline worker, so I know there's people who have had people in the hospitals have had like a tremendously difficult year, and even just, people working in supermarkets. I'm just in that same massive people who are all working from home, a little bit bored out of their mind, and then also having to manage just the stuff that happens when a year passes, like people in your family passing away and having to watch a funeral on YouTube instead of being able to be present at it, or trying to comfort a friend and not being able to hug them, or so those sort of things. The longer this goes on, the longer the more chances for the normal things that happen even outside of COVID, and then having to deal with them, through that. So it's. To be honest, I think within the music community, I think the people I feel have really been affected most are young artists, or people who are just getting going, because most people, like myself, who've been doing it for a while, we have enough projects to get on with. We're all secretly relieved not to have to travel so much, but I think if you're a student or if you're just sort of getting going, and that could be an artist at any age, all of a sudden everything's been on pause for a year, and that's really tough, really tough for people.
Tell us about Happiness Starts Right Now and the creation of it. And I know you said you're a little bored, and I heard you're a little bored at Mass too. So
No, the text, that was really something that a doctor in Ireland once said to me about. She was saying, like, she was basically saying, you'd go to Mass and you just veg out and people would switch off. She said they do absolutely nothing for half an hour, and I think that was good for people. It was relaxing, and so that stuck with me. And the way I work is I collect loads of little bits of text from all over the place, and I write my own text as well, and I'm collecting musical ideas. And so then when I'm working on a piece, I'm sort of searching through lots of text and trying to sew things together, so that sort of vocal mode tied together with this, tied together with the text from the doctor, as well as text about working from home forever. And then the very end of it, I've even got little field recordings from a family member who has chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, so is a super high risk COVID individual who, I'm very privileged that she got on board with my career very early and has been making field recordings and sending them to me, for the last 20 years. So I wanted to put those in there as a little nod to that.
It's amazing.
One of the things I really like about your work is that you embody these characters also, that you take them in and they become part of you. I mean, I've only seen you perform live once, and that was a very long time ago at the Hadiamas Festival. And,
Okay.
and I remember thinking that, this is you were like a lightning rod or something, you were like a courageous locus of all of this energy and these stories. And So it's must be interesting to not just sing the things and write the things, but also to be the things.
It's Thanks very much for a compliment for a performance a long time ago. But I mean, for me, I don't think of like with my voice. I don't think of it as a static, stable instrument. I think of it something that changes all the time. So I'm one of those people that if I hear somebody with a strange, way of speaking, I'm like trying to hear them and imitate it and even record it and like do it myself. And I was talking to an Irish broadcaster about this, and I was saying like sometimes I wonder if it's an intrinsically Irish thing. Irish people can't just tell you a story; they have to relate all the speech from the story, and they put on the voices as they do that. So it's very normal for you to sort of imitate people, not in a mean way, but just literally because that's how you convey information, by relating speech. So nobody will ever say, I went to the doctor and they told me to take antibiotics. They'll say, I went to the doctor and he said to me, listen to me now, what he said to me. He said to me, listen to me, you need to take those antibiotics. And so you sort of get used to sort of hearing voices all like that. And so for me, you have to go into them. It's a form of intonation, like it's trying to find how they resonate. So, I enjoy it, I have to say.
Beautiful.
I'm lucky.
And Jennifer, what brought you to this art? Like, did you sing when you were younger? Did you write texts? I mean, or how did you find this way to this very unique performance that you do?
Well, to be honest, I feel it all seemed terribly confusing when you're younger because you're interested in lots of different things, and sometimes the educational systems that you're in don't quite know how to connect those things up. So you're going to I was talking to somebody earlier today and I said, I remember going to like a reading of a student work and I was reading David Foster Wallace and listening to Radiohead, which really dates me back to the late 90s, but I never would have talked about the fact that I was reading that book or listening to that music at this new music, workshop reading. So I think there's been steadily there's been, since before I was born, there's been more of a push for people to try and connect these different parts up, these disparate parts, and not just write music that's for one genre or something like that. So, and I was lucky in that I had great teachers, along the way who encouraged me to connect these things and not feel they were disparate. And I mean, that just partly, it's also just the way I'm wired. When I go to a concert, I can't switch off unless I just really just close my eyes and sit there. I'm taking in the textual information and the visual information, and that's affecting the whole thing. That's just how I'm built, So I feel really lucky that now you're able to make pieces with video and make pieces with, the internet or technology, because sort of when I was in college in the 90s, that was sort of inaccessible, whereas now it's really common. For example, composers work with video all the time, because most of them have a phone, so therefore they always have a camera of some sort. So I think there's been a change, in the overall way we make music. And I think the education system is going to actually have to change in the next 5-10 years to catch up with that.
That's a nice idea, that the education system has to catch up with vernacular in the sense, that we've moved ahead of education. We'll soon be teaching the teachers right after, Jenny, it's fascinating to talk to you. I wish we could stay here all day. We've got, thank you so much for your new work.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
It's great. It was great to have you.
For commissioning it. So thanks so much, Jenny. And
thanks very much. Thanks.